The global divide between the global north and the global south developed due to historical and economic factors, including number one, colonialism. European powers exploited resources and labor from colonies in the global south, enriching the north while underdeveloping the south. Number two, industrial revolution. The north industrialized early, leading to wealth and technological advancement, while the south remained largely agrarian and underdeveloped. Number three, economic dependency. Post-colonial economies in the South relied on exporting raw materials and importing goods, creating economic independence on the North. Number four, neo-colonialism. Even after decolonialization, many global South countries remain economically dependent on the North through trade, investment, and multinational corporations. Lastly, number five, globalization and inequality. The integration into global markets has benefited the North more, and technological and financial inequalities persist, reinforcing the divide. And in my conclusion, the global divide developed through a complex interplay of historical exploitation, unequal economic structures, and ongoing global power dynamics. Addressing this divide requires efforts to promote fair trade, debt relief, sustainable development, and greater representation of global South countries in international decision-making processes.
So why did the global divides the North and the South? The global divide between the North and South is closely connected to the dynamics of globalization. As colonialism and the Industrial Revolution established the foundations for inequality between the global North and South, globalization, accelerating in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, has both reinforced and complicated these divides. Globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of economies, cultures, and political systems across the world. While it has brought economic growth and technological advancements to many parts of the global South, the benefits of globalization have been unevenly distributed. Wealthier industrialized nations in the global North, already positioned with strong economies and advanced infrastructure, were better equipped to take advantage of global markets, technology, and capital flows. In contrast, many countries in the global South, still grappling with the legacies of colonialism and weaker economic structures, found themselves vulnerable to global economic shifts such as volatility of commodity prices and dependency on foreign investment. Moreover, globalization has often favored multinational corporations and industries based in the global North, allowing them to extend their influence into the global South. This has led to a continuation of unequal economic relationships where resources and labor from the South are utilized to benefit the economies of the North. While globalization has provided opportunities for development and integration to the global economy for some nations in the South, it has also exacerbated inequalities as countries with less economic and political power struggle to compete on equal footing in a globalized world. In essence, globalization has both intensified the divide between the global North and South and created new opportunities for economic and social change. However, the historical legacy of colonialism and the imbalances in global trade and power continue to shape the contours of this divide, making it a persistent feature of our globalized world.
Third world. Focus on development. The third world concept was largely centered around issues of economic development. It framed these countries as being in a transitional phase towards industrialization and modernization, but lagging behind the industrialized nations of the first world. The focus was on bringing these countries up to speed in terms of economic growth, infrastructure, and political stability, often through foreign aid and development programs. Economic and social conditions. The third world was often characterized by low income, high poverty rates, political instability, and reliance on agriculture rather than industrialization. These countries were seen as the needing the development assistance and were often subjects of international development agendas. The Global South. Shift in emphasis. The term Global South marks a significant shift from the earlier Third World framework. While it still refers to many the same regions, the focus moves from just economic development to a broader understanding of geopolitical power dynamics. The Global South concept emphasizes the historical and ongoing impacts of colonialism, neo-imperialism, and global power relations. Geopolitical relations. The Global South is not just about underdevelopment, it's about the systematic inequalities between the industrialized wealthy nations and the less developed regions. These terms highlights how these inequalities are maintained through global economic systems, political structures, and cultural dominance that have roots.
The Third World concept significantly influenced globalization by shaping how Latin American countries were integrated into the global economy and international relations. Economic dependency. By focusing on economic development through foreign aid and investments, the concept increased these countries' dependence on wealthier nations, making their economic vulnerable to global market fluctuations. Second, unequal power dynamic. The label reinforced a global hierarchy with the development countries dictating the rules of international trade and finance, often to the detriment of third world countries like those in Latin America. Third, Western development models. Latin American countries were pressured to adopt Western-style development models through institutions like the IMF and World Bank. These policies often led to economic instability and social inequality, despite deeper integration into the global economy. Fourth, cultural influence. The Third World concept also facilitated the spread of Western culture, sometimes eroding local traditions in favor of globalized Western norms. And fifth, resistance and change. Over time, the limitations of Third World framework led to resistance in Latin America and the development of alternative concepts like the Global South, which sought a fairer and more equitable approach to globalization. In summary, while the Third World concept helped integrate Latin America into the global economy, it often did so in ways that perpetuated deficiency and inequality, sparking movement for a more just global order.